Hello, everyone. Margo here, back to introduce you to another powerful woman. One of the powerful women that made the list for Womel Magazine 25 Powerful Women to Follow for Women's History Month. This lady, she's a CPA, an MBA. She is an author. Yeah, she's made some mistakes, but she says empire builders, don't let mistakes stop them. If you're listening to this podcast while you are yet an employee, she's telling me to tell you, save money. When you get a raise, save and invest. Wealth and businesses build systematically. Who can give that kind of information? The one and only CPA MBA, Ursula Garrett. Buckle up. This is an informative, a very transparent conversation. You're going to learn a lot. One of 25 powerful women to follow from Womel Magazine's list for March 2021.
Welcome to Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. This podcast was created for the boomer woman leaving corporate, and now you're looking to reinvent yourself, become an author, an entrepreneur, a podcaster. Well, each episode will leave you with clarity. You will come away with the yes, I can and yes, I will reinvent myself mindset. So come on, let's do this. I'm your host, Margo Levette.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Another episode, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. I am excited today because I have a woman who is first, she's going to tell you her story. And I want her to take you in deep because we have too many of us feeling as though we're not enough. These days where some of us are without jobs, without our careers have ceased, and we feel as though we can't reinvent ourselves. There are too many obstacles. The challenges are too high. I hear way too much of that. So rather than scold you, I'm coming today to give you a solution, to show you a living, breathing person who can negate all of those fears. Because if this lady can do it, you can also. And I'm talking about the one and only Ursula Garrett. Let me tell you about this lady. She was bad to the bone before she got her CPA, before she got her MBA in entrepreneurship. And it is her mission to be a business advisor to help entrepreneurs build empires, one asset at a time. Build empires. So if you're just starting out, hang with it. Stick with it. This lady can help you build an empire. So welcome, Ursula Garrett. I am so glad that you are here today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to be here.
Well, I tell you, CPA practicing. I mean, it's not CPA and then you put that shingle over on the library somewhere. You are a practicing licensed CPA, and you teach people. You help them build their businesses from the startup to the one that's been in business a while, to the one that's stuck. And we're going to talk about your book because this lady is also an author, two-time, correct?
Correct.
Two-time author. So one book in particular I really want to bring to everyone's attention. But Ursula, will you tell everybody, with all of the awesome life-changing things that you have done in your life, and you still have a lot of life. So, I mean, you are on a trajectory, just boom, boom, boom. Will you tell us a little something about your journey?
Well, my journey, as with most people, wasn't an easy one, but it doesn't mean that it was not for me something that I could not overcome. Growing up a poor Black girl in the South in and of itself is one big obstacle. But then to be a statistic, to be a teen mom, I found myself at 17 years old when I'm graduating high school, pregnant with my second child. So I became a mom for the first time at 14 years old. graduated high school. Now I'm, 17 years old, 2 children. What am I going to do now? I had a scholarship to college, so I was a good student, but I didn't make good choices in my life. And so, as what happens is you have to deal with the consequences of your actions. In my case, the consequences were 2 beautiful little girls, but they still had to be fed. So I did what any 17-year-old girl would do. She gets married. I got married. So again, that probably wasn't the best decision, but for me at the time, I thought it was. But here's the thing. I wasn't even old enough to get married. I wasn't legal. My parents had to sign the documents for me to be able to get married. So 1 week after I graduated high school, I got married. But I was determined that I was going to get an education. So I started at the local technical college, taking some business classes, learning how to do payroll. I went to work for a radio station after that, and I found that I still couldn't make ends meet. At this time, that marriage that I thought I needed to do, so I was not the single mother of 2 children who was already falling apart less than 2 years later. So I made another great decision. I went into the military. Now, this is the girl that wore high heels, pumps to school. I used to walk about 2 miles to school in my pumps. And I traded my pumps for combat boots. That didn't work out so well, but it was a good experience. And that picture, for those of you that could see, that picture in the background, that's actually my second daughter. She actually she's retired disabled from the military. And at this point, she's 36 years old. So it's been a long journey.
But look at what you have done.
Yes.
Have you always felt that entrepreneurial spirit? Have you always felt like, I don't really want to work for somebody. I think I want to do this or I want to do that. Have you always had that bug?
Yes, I have, which is what made my stint in the military a little difficult because I wanted to do things my way. Didn't take orders so well. So I had a tough time working for other people because I would see things that could be improved. And, being the low person on the totem pole, they don't always want to hear what you have to say. I wanted to grow, see businesses grow. I wanted to be a part of that. And to do that, I had to eventually branch out on my own. The longest I ever worked for anybody before I worked for myself was 2.5 years. And I stayed with the first CPA firm that I worked for 2.5 years. So I could get my CPA license. I can get the experience and the skills I needed to be able to do what I wanted to do. So no, I didn't really like working for other people, but it was a necessary thing. It's what I had to do to get to where I wanted to go. And so sometimes we have to make sacrifices. That's what life is about. Oh, yes.
It was intentional. You already knew, I'm going to get the CPA license and it's deuces. I'm out of here. Exactly. That's where Ursula, do you find that that's where a lot of us really mess up? We get comfortable. We lose sight of that plan. And, we're lured in because we do have that 40 hours and we have that steady paycheck.
Yes.
But that's not where we're supposed to be. Do you find that that's where most of us really we get stuck?
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I find there are 2 camps. That's one camp, the one that stays at that job and they're miserable at that job. And so they make excuses for why they stay. But I understand that. I know a lot of women that do it. They stay at the job, they retire. Now they have their stable income and their kids are grown up, they're adults, and they don't have the pressures of, I have to make sure I'm taking care of my children. And I find that a lot of women in their 50s and 60s, that's when they're letting their entrepreneurial spirit come out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, yes.
Yeah.
And so that's an amazing thing. And so that's a lot of the clients that I work with. But the other camp are the ones that want everything now. It's like, people will say that's a millennial trait, but it's not just millennial traits. You'll find this you'll find this in every age group. Millennials are actually better at making something happen. they know what they want and they're not afraid to take risks. And yeah, they do, in some cases they do have some entitlements. Well, I feel entitled to this, but I find that they're willing to work for those things.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of millennials, I know they've gotten a bad rap, but they care about the environment and they like their independence. Yes. They don't care where they want to live, where they want to live, do what they want to do, but they're willing to get on the internet to earn an income. They're willing to do whatever it is that they're passionate about to make an income. But that second group, the one that I'm talking about, are the ones that they don't like working for other people, or if they do, they want to make a lot of money, even though they don't have the skills or experience. So they just jump around from job to job, from one venture to the next, trying to find the next get-rich-quick scheme. And those are the people that I really worry about, because they really just need to be grounded. They need to be focused.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out what your dream is, what your goal is, and then make sacrifices. Do what you have to do to get where you want to go. You may not always like the company that you're working for, but maybe you need to work for that company. And as Lisa Nichols say, let your job fund your dream.
Oh.
So you work for that job, and instead of spending every cent you make, you save that money so that you can then do what it is you want to do. Pursue your passion, pursue your dream. I find that, because I also help my clients with financial planning and money management, that most of us, the more we make, the more we spend.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't really matter if we got a big raise, because then we'll find a way to spend it. Instead of taking that extra money, if you can live off of what you were making, you get a big raise, you get a promotion, take that money and save it. And then you take some of your savings and you invest it. There has to be a systematic way to gain your financial independence, to build financial wealth, so that when you want to start your business, when you want to take a vacation, when you want to retire, you're not pinching pennies, worried about every dime.
Systematically is the best way to go about this.
Right.
It
Absolutely.
looks like your book, Plateau to Summit.
Yes.
I'm really interested in that. Plateau to Summit, the ultimate guide to take your business to the top. Now, when I hear you say, you know what, you need to stay on that job, learn what you're going to learn, and put all this information together, save your money, go for what you're going for. Is that pretty much the tone here in Plateau to Summit? Because I love how you open it up. It says, discover your passion, feel your why, tell your story, and claim your happy. Now,
Absolutely.
I'm loving all of that. Will you take us a little bit into your book? Because you are a giving woman to your clients. I can tell that. You don't just advise them on one little section. You become a part of their business. If they're stuck, then you investigate every part of it so that you can help them. So take us into Plateau to Summit.
So what Plateau to Summit does is it tells you how to start your business right to begin with. So you have to start with a plan. And pretty much anything you ever hear me say about starting a business, doing something in life, even planning a vacation, you start with a plan. To do something and to do it well, to make sure you get the outcome that you want, you must have a plan. Preferably for a business, it should be written so that even if you can't answer any questions, if somebody wants to know what it is you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to do, your employees, they take a look at that business plan. They know what it is you're trying to do. You don't have to answer every question because it's all written there. The questions are already answered. So it tells you a little bit about how to start a plan, how to figure out what it is that you're going to need. Because if you've never had a business, there are some things you may not know about. So we talk about the P's, the people, the purpose, the finances, we talk about all the things. I discuss everything you need to do to come up with a good business plan, which is the foundation for your business. Then we go through in the book on, how to operate, how to get financing, how to budget. and how to deal with people. So it's all about all the little things that when I look at your financial statements, I could tell where you're having problems in your business without you having to open your mouth and say one word to me, because I've been doing this for so long. When I take a look at your financials, I prepare your tax returns, I know all the bones of your business. And are you still there? Okay. So I'm familiar with all the bones of your business. And by me having this access to that kind of information, then I can help you find ways to fix your business without you having to tell me this is what's wrong. So I take some of those scenarios in Plateau to Summit and I discuss ways that you can use. If this is your problem, here's how you could fix it. I see I'm still recording and I can talk for days about this. But Margo, I lost you. So in Plateau to Summit, where I'm discussing different ways that you can improve your business once you make sure it's set up right. And it's never too late to get a plan.
I don't know what
Oh, you're
happened.
back.
Got frozen. Oh my goodness.
Well, you left and I kept talking.
I wonder if something's going on with my modem. Oh,
well, it said it was still recording, so I kept talking, and then I was about to move on, but you popped back so good.
Oh goodness. Wow. That never that happened to me a couple of days ago. Okay. All right. All right. Let me. And as you were saying, dear lady, I'm gonna have to send this to the editor. As you were saying, then we talk about. Oh my goodness, that rattled me for a minute.
So we talking
talk about having a
Summit
plan
and having
a plan. Everything starts with a plan, and even if something happens, then your employees even know what that plan, what your business is all about, your projections and that type of thing. So good place to pick up right there.
Yes.
Okay. I just have one question going into this thing of your plan and having a strategy. What do you advocate that we definitely have this plan and everything written out and it's all strategic so that it helps with our clarity also?
Oh, absolutely. Because it's so easy to get distracted. You see somebody that's doing something similar, but maybe they're going about it a different way. Their whole goal is something completely different than yours, but they're making money at it. And it's so easy to say, oh, look, they're making all that money. I'm going to do that too. It's so easy to always want to do the next new exciting thing. But is that the core of your business? You always want to stick with what's the core of my business? What's the purpose? What's my mission? And the core of your business, the core of where you make money is the thing you need to put the most energy to. You can have secondary products or services or whatever you offer, but you must take care of your core first before anything. If those secondary things are taking too much time, energy, resources away from your core, you got to let them go. You always have to focus on your core, and you can't be sidetracked by what somebody else is doing. And that's why the plan helps you to stay focused, because you have to say, this is my purpose. This is the purpose I'm doing this business. Here's the purpose. Here's my mission. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. Here's the goal, and here's how I'm going to get there. So if this is how you're going to get there, and this is a path you planned out, you can have obstacles, and maybe you have to go around the obstacles. You have to go over it. You got to go under it. You got to go through it. But you don't want to take a path that's going to take you to a different place instead of to that summit where you're trying to go. You don't want to keep circling this mountain. You want to get to the top.
Yes. Now that's why people get stuck, because they get off on that shiny object type of thing,
Yes.
or they lose focus. I'm thinking about that second group of people that want it quick. It doesn't. It's not happening real fast for me. So, this is not working. I'm scrapping it. as you say, I'm off to the next thing.
Mhm.
Is that part of that getting stuck and not reaching your plateau?
Oh, absolutely. There was a singer that once said, and I can't remember who the singer is, said something about, oh yeah, I became an overnight success in 20 years. Only took me 20 years to become an overnight success. So you have to kind of look at it that way. You have to put the time in. You know, it's rare that somebody's going to put in a little effort, a little time, and come up with this amazing product or amazing service that everybody just happens to need and just make it really big. Even that person has probably done some planning and they've had this idea and they just happen to hit the market at the right time. But most people, they put in effort, they put in time. I'm not saying you have to work 18 hours a week, 18 hours a day for 18 years to get your success. I'm just saying that whatever you do, put your full effort into it.
Yes.
You know, plan so you know what you can expect what's going to happen. There are always going to be unexpected things, but most things can be anticipated. This is a possibility. And so you want to plan for, what am I going to do if this happens? What if this doesn't work well? Then what's your exit strategy? How are you going to get out of this? Now, what if you just started your business when this pandemic hit and you had no plans? You didn't have any what ifs. What if my business can't make money for 2 months? Then what am I going to do? So I used to say, you need to have a continuity plan. But when I would say continuity plan, people just kind of blew it off. So I just said, well, let's think about what if. So instead of saying continuity, because that makes people nervous, well, of course it's going to continue. But what if it doesn't? Then what will you do? So I could say exit strategy, and everybody likes that.
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to get out of this when I'm tired of doing this? When I'm ready to retire? Am I going to sell it? Am I going to give it to my children? Am I just going to let it close? But what if it doesn't work? Then that could be a part of your exit strategy. But instead of saying, what if it doesn't work? Why not say, what can I do to make it work? And that's what the continuity plan does. What happens if I can't sell? What happened if I can't open my doors? For me, what happened if I couldn't open my doors to my clients? Well, I could still continue, which is what I did. I locked the doors, and now I'm communicating with my clients via phone, email, text message, and they're sending me their information digitally. They're dropping it in the U.S. mail. You know, that snail mail thing? Yeah, we still get those. We still use that system. But you have to have systems in place so that when you can't do business as usual, you could still do business.
Yes.
And I think that this pandemic has shown a lot of people, a lot of businesses, hey, we could still focus, even though we could still stay in business. We could still make money. We just have to find a different way of doing it. A lot of speakers were on stage because I used to speak at a lot of events locally. People would ask me to speak before their groups. I could still do that. I just can't do it in person.
Mm-hmm.
So these speakers, you see them moving their platform to a different place. Instead of the stage now, their stages is on the computer. I'm meeting you digitally through Zoom, through GoToMeetings, through GoToWebinars, you name it. I'm on your face. I'm on Facebook Live. I'm on Instagram Live. You have to meet your audience where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have a plan for anything that happens in your business. And if something that you didn't plan for happens because you have so many plans already laid out, you could probably come up with a solution without too much headaches or heartaches.
Because you've planned.
Because you've planned.
Wow. Ursula Garrett, you are amazing. And there's so much more that we could touch on, because I feel you are just a wellspring of information on actually how do you build a firm foundation for your business. Starts with a mindset and
Absolutely.
Getting with somebody like Ursula Garrett. Ursula, how do we get in contact with you? And tell us, give us the titles of both of your books,
Okay.
where we can find them, and finally, how do we get in contact with you?
Oh, absolutely. So let me tell you about my first book. It's called The Authorities. And what that is, it's a group of authorities that gives you information on wisdom from all aspects of life. One of the co-authors of the book Mr. Les Brown. Well, we all know Les Brown. And he talks about his motivation, what motivates him, and he helps you to find your motivation to speak. Dr. John Gray from Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And some people saying kids are from hell, but I would never say that.
Me either.
So he talks about relationships. And and then the publisher who's also been a business coach to me, Raymond Aaron, who's a New York Times bestselling author, he does a chapter on branding, on how to get your branding so that you could sell your product. Now, my chapter is called Nobody Got Time for This. And what it really should have said is Nobody Got Time to Be Broke. The chapter is about smart money management. I talk about some of the things that I mentioned to you earlier in coming up with the budget, finding ways to save money, to invest money. You can't just spend, you have to do other things with money. And so I give you some tools, some tips, some strategies on how you could save money to take those vacations, to retire, to go to help pay for college, to start your business, to invest, to do whatever it is you want to do. Just chip away a little bit at a time.
Wow.
And that book can be found on Amazon.com. If you want a direct link to it, you can go to my personal branding site, UrsulaIsAmazing.com. And that is the best way to reach me, UrsulaIsAmazing.com. From that page, you can get access to my CPA Garrett page, to all of my social media accounts, my social media sites, connections, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you want to reach me on social media, go to UrsulaIsAmazing.com. If you'd like to find out more about Plateau to Summit, the ultimate guide to take your business to the top, you could find a link to that at UrsulaIsAmazing.com, or you could just go directly to PlateauToSummit.com. And it talks a bit about the book. You could find a couple of templates there, a one-page business plan. This is a quick and easy business plan where it just helps you figure out what it is you want to do. It asks 6 simple questions. You answer those questions, and that's a business plan, and that's for you. Now, obviously, that's not a business plan you can use to go and get a loan.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to do a full-scale financial plan, but that's fine. It's one for you to help you run your business and keep it on track and to make sure that you're successful. It also has a one-page marketing plan. Again, I like to keep things simple because having to come up with these plans can be difficult. But if you can answer just a few simple questions, you have a plan. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to cost you lots of money to get these plans done. You know your business. You know what you want to do. You know what you want to accomplish. Answer these questions and stay on track.
And Ursula is amazing. That is a fact. Wow. I knew you to be a generous lady. And when we go over there, the tools that you are giving, thank you so very much. Sharing your story, so transparent. Gosh, what can I say? Ladies and gentlemen, I always tell everybody, you have to listen to these episodes more than one time because our conversations have so much meat, and Ursula is amazing. Did not disappoint. So thank you, dear lady.
Oh, you are so very welcome. It was absolutely my pleasure to be here.
Well, we're going to have to do this again because, as you were speaking, I was thinking about companies getting back on track and some people being on furlough or their jobs being dissolved altogether. And they're having the grit and gumption to begin the journey of being entrepreneurs. So I'd like to come back and have you come back, and then we just take a look at that maybe in the fall. What's going on with people that way, and are a lot of people going into entrepreneurship. I'd just like to tap the pulse of that population, if it's okay with you.
Oh,
all right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. We have a date then. Well, as I say, listen more than one time. And Margo Levette, I will be back next week with a brand new episode. Her business, her voice, her conversation. In the meantime, I have to say, bye-bye now.
I want to thank you for listening to Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Couple of things that I want you to do right now. Go to my website, pick up a copy of Her Business, Her Voice, Her Reinvention, how I went from game show hopping to international show host, author, and speaker in 1 year. Number 2, please freely listen to each and every episode. Share them out with your family, friends, the men in your lives. And then number 3, get in contact with me, one of the experts that have been on the show, because I want to make sure that you reinvent yourself. I'll be back next week with a brand new episode here on Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation.